Welcome. My name is Dennis Hands. I'm your host here today for this special edition. We're going to look at Nelson Stover's Universe Walk. I teach astronomy at High Point University, and I'm really happy to introduce you to Nelson Stover, who's built a wonderful trail for us to use in thinking about the history of the universe. So, Nelson, I'd like to hand it over to you.
Thank you, Dennis. My name's Nelson Stover. I'm a cultural engineer, and this Universe Story Walk is based on a book called Universe Story by Thomas Berry and Brian Swimme. Thomas Berry actually was here to dedicate this walk in 1999, and we've kept it updated since then. People come from all around to join us in this walk. The reason we've done this is that most people know their own personal history and can tell their own sort of life history. I went to high school here, college, and did this for my job. Many people can tell the history of the United States, the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, and a couple of big wars, highlights Depression and that kind of thing. But very few people can tell in a simple way that's accurate scientifically the history of the universe. So that's why we've built the Universe Story Walk. It's a half a mile through our woods. Today we're going to do the first 200 feet. And at each stage there's a marker like this and a reading from the Universe Story. So I'll begin with the reading for the beginning of time. It's called Primal Flaring Forth. Originating power brought forth a universe. All the energy that would ever exist in the entire course of time erupted as a single quantum, a singular gift, existence. Particles, light and time, emerged in the beginning. Space foamed forth to create the vast billowing event of the expanding universe. The universe venture was underway. Each thing in the great flaring forth existed only for the briefest of instants. For in the beginning, nothing was permanent. After less than a second, but already an interval of time in which the universe had transformed itself many millions of times, the second great macro transition of the universe began. The universe had expanded to the point where the energy of the photons was no longer capable of evoking new particles from the quantum vacuum, that realm of cosmic fecundity. The tiny portion of the primordial universe that managed to slide through this eye of the needle near the beginning of time thus entered a new state of being. The universe had developed an exterior dimension. And one unique feature of this Universe Story Walk is that after each reading, there's a kind of reflective question for you to think about, and how your life and the life of the universe share common threads. So you might think about, after that reading, what would it be like to be running so fast that you could not connect or relate to anybody else? This was the condition of the early particles. So Dennis, we'll walk down 100 feet, and that'll be 1 billion years. So, symbolically, 1 billion years have passed. Time passed. On the calendar, no eyes were watching. The universe bloomed into existence, settled on its fundamental laws, and stabilized itself as baryons and simple nuclei. It expanded, and then cooled. And then, in an instant, at the very end of the fireball, the universe transformed itself into primordial atoms of hydrogen and helium. a wandering photon snapped into a new relationship with erstwhile freely interacting electrons. These bonded relationships were impossible during the violent former eras, but now became the predominant mode of reality. This new mode of being had the power to seal a photon and an electron into a seamless community, and the fundamental properties of the fireball were changed forever. Hydrogen and helium allowed light to shoot through without destroying their relationship. So you might think about it. What conditions and decisions foster long-lasting relationships in your experience? We'll make one more stop. So sometimes I tell people this universe story walk is a bit like the Stations of the Cross that they have in Catholic churches. As you know, if you go in there, there's little pictures on the wall. They're numbered. When you go through and look at all the pictures, you have the whole Jesus story. Well, this is like that. When you go and read all the signs, when you get done, you have the universe story. Now granted, we leave out some details. That's okay. It's a story. But you have to decide your story. So this is stop number 2, galactic clouds. The universe became transparent. Suddenly, the pressure that had been exerted by the photons vanished. The formerly insignificant ripples in the fireball could flex their muscles and grab matter to themselves. The universe constellated into a trillion separate clouds of hydrogen and helium. Each of these new presences emerged. Powers of self-determination erupted within each of the clouds. The galaxies were born. Each galaxy set to work immediately, sweeping vast reaches of itself into a central concentration of matter and energy, so extreme that it punctured the very fabric of space and time. These black holes sent out ripples that amplified, damped out, and sometimes superseded the fluctuations that had been generated by the universe as a whole. The universe broke itself into a trillion clouds, each with its own internal dynamics. This enabled each cloud to escape from the universe's expansion, in that the diameter of each cloud remained the same, while the space between the clouds was progressively extended. And you might think about what early influences in your life have had long-lasting effects. So we'd like to thank you. I'll just do the end. We'd like to thank you for joining us on this initial taste of the Universe Story Walk, and more information will be available at the bottom of this screen. Thank you, and have a good day.